Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York. New York Times World News.
February 11th, 5:21 America, New York. Russia launches wave of attack drones on Ukrainian infrastructure. The overnight strikes with Iranian-made drones capped a day in which Russian forces unleashed a major barrage of missiles on critical sites around Ukraine. Residents cleared rubble after a Russian rocket attack in the Zaporizhzhia region of Ukraine on Friday.
New York Times World News. February 11th, 5 o'clock America, New York. Wagner founder has Putin's support, but the Kremlin side-eye. Yevgeny V. Prigozhin, the once secretive tycoon, is confounding Moscow's Kremlin-allied elite by starting to dabble in politics alongside waging war in Ukraine. Yevgeny V.
Mirror World News.
February 11th, 4:46 America, New York. Health warning as deadly mosquito virus which can cause meningitis detected. Australia's health chief issued a public warning after encephalitis virus was detected at sites in flood-ravaged areas of New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia.
BBC News World.
February 11th, 4:41 America, New York. Cyclone Gabrielle. New Zealand braces for storm after record floods. Residents are on edge as parts of the North Island prepare for more severe weather.
Mirror World News. February 11th, 4:32 America, New York. Zombie-like fentanyl addicts lie in street in Canada's legalized drug experiment. In the province of British Columbia, anyone today and for the next 3 years caught with 2.5 grams or less of hard drugs such as fentanyl, heroin, crack cocaine and crystal meth will no longer be arrested.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
February 11th, 3:02 America, New York. Toronto mayor resigns after cheating on wife of more than 40 years. The mayor of Canada's largest city has quit after he admitted having an affair with a staff member. Toronto Mayor John Tory speaks during a news conference at City Hall in Toronto, Ontario, Friday, Feb.
Washington Post World.
February 11th, 2:45 America, New York. Hilltop coal mining town a tactical prize in Ukraine war. The small coal mining town of Vuhledar on Ukraine's eastern front line has emerged as a critical hotspot in the fight for Donetsk province.
RT World News.
February 11th, 2:40 America, New York. U.S. unveils new sanctions on China. The restrictions come days after the Pentagon brought down a suspected Chinese spy balloon. The U.S. announced new sanctions against China on Friday, targeting 6 companies linked to Beijing's suspected surveillance program. Fox World News.
February 11th, 0:25 America, New York. China accuses the U.S. of lying to the world about spy surveillance aircraft. Beijing has ramped up its rhetoric toward the United States in the wake of the U.S. Air Force shooting down a Chinese aircraft capable of surveillance.
BBC News World.
February 11th, 0:11 America, New York. Crisis upon crisis. Why it's hard to get help to Syria after earthquake. Little foreign aid has arrived in the country, and promises of better access may not change much.
RT World News.
February 10th, 23:54 America, New York. U.S. Special Ops in Ukraine risk major escalation, Ambassador. The deployment of U.S. Special Forces would carry indescribable risks. Moscow's ambassador said Russia's envoy to the United States has responded to recent reports that Washington is seeking to resume its top-secret programs in Ukraine, warning that special operators on the battlefield would mean direct U.S. involvement in the conflict.
BBC News World.
February 10th, 23:43 America, New York. John Tory, Toronto mayor quits after affair with ex-staffer during pandemic. John Tory said the relationship was a serious error in judgment after it was revealed by a newspaper.
New York Times World News.
February 10th, 22:45 America, New York. Toronto Mayor John Tory resigns, admitting to relationship with employee. The mayor, John Tory, who had led the city since 2014, apologized for what he called a serious error in judgment. John Tory, mayor of Toronto, announced on Friday night he was stepping down, after acknowledging he'd had an extramarital relationship with a staffer.
Washington Post World.
February 10th, 22:35 America, New York. Health crisis leads scores of Yanomami to roam the streets. Years of neglect during the previous government of far-right President Jair Bolsonaro led to a health crisis in Brazil's indigenous Yanomami population.
Washington Post World.
February 10, 2137 America New York, Toronto mayor steps down after affair with ex-staffer. The mayor of Canada's largest city has stepped down after acknowledging he had an affair with a former staffer.
The Washington Times stories. Advocacy.
February 10, 2126 America New York, Toronto mayor resigns after affair with ex-staffer. The mayor at Canada's largest city has stepped down after acknowledging he had an affair with a former staffer.
Fox World News.
February 10, 2111 America New York, former Putin speechwriter, others added to Russia's foreign agent registry. Former Putin speechwriter Abbas Galyamov, pop star Zemfira Ramazanova, and exiled opposition leader Dmitry Gudkov were added to Russia's foreign agents registry.
The Washington Times stories. Advocacy.
February 10, 2108 America New York, Missouri ag calls for transgender clinic to stop giving kids hormones during malpractice probe. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has called for an immediate moratorium on puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for new underage patients at the Washington University Transgender Center in St.